together. Stand together and fight. Let's go. Redblacks on 3. 1, 2, 3. Redblacks.
Welcome back to TD Place. Matthew Shinetti here. The Edmonton Eskimos lead the Redblacks by 10-0. Though you heard Trevor Harris and his passionate speech to his teammates at the Redblacks try to get a win. Their record is 1-5-1. And who's been noticing that? Well, Henry Burris had some tweets earlier this week questioning maybe aspects of the leadership in the locker room and what was missing from that Grey Cup win last season. There were some Redblacks who took notice of that, even though Henry Burris tried to call some of his teammates to explain. They all said it wasn't big motivation, but we spoke to a few Redblacks yesterday, and clearly some of them had it on their mind, guys.
Yeah, it was very interesting talking with some of the Redblacks. Did rub some of them the wrong way with the comments by Henry Burris, who will long time be a legend here for what he did last year, particularly in the Grey Cup. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, I mean, you had very different reactions from teammates. My feeling, and I think the feeling of Coach Rick Campbell after our conversation with him, is that it didn't come out as intended.
Trevor Harris plastered in the backfield. Daquan Bowers with the sack.
Well, Daquan Bowers, a former NFLer who has moved right in to become a part of that defensive line rotation in Edmonton. The big hand swat and rip on the guard, Alex Mateus.
Fourth sack of the season. Former Clemson star. Big kick by Maher. Chris Edwards gathers it in near his 35 and is swarmed there. Juan Bowers, part of that sack squad for the Eskimos. That's number 1 here tonight. He has the keys to the car here in Ottawa, despite the tweets of Henry Burris this week. He did say yesterday that, you know, they're not panicking. With more on the sideline, let's go down to Jock Climbing.
Well, I was just going to weigh in, guys, about the tweet by Burris, and I can tell you, having talked to some of the people in the organization, they're seeing it just the way I would have as a player, and that is, we wish we don't have to deal with this. That's what they're saying. They don't want to have to deal with and answer questions from the media about something that a former player has said. That is what's so hard for this Redblack football team. They're trying to focus on wins, and now they have to wonder if every person in the stadium is thinking, wow, they're losing again because they don't have Henry Burris.
Well, it's a very interesting scenario, of course. A Grey Cup hangover. That may not be a hangover, but I guess, you know what? It's a big headache right now for the Ottawa Redblacks at 1-5-1. And I know there's the consolation of the losses being so minute, it seems.
Yeah, that's no consolation.
That's no consolation.
No, I mean, this isn't a points for and against league. No. There's no bonus points. You get points for wins and ties.
But do you think that, you know, even the comments, and yes, they have to hear from them and they have to hear questions, those comments still stink?
Well, they do, and I think to be fair to the guys that are there, and I've been on teams in the past that have been through this before. Yeah, they've definitely lost some leaders. I don't think it creates a lack of leadership. I think it creates a different kind of leadership and different people trying to find their roles. It's a different team. It's a different group of guys. The guys who are in leadership positions may not be as vocal as a Henry Burris, as vocal as a Moten Hopkins, as much of a presence as an Ernest Jackson, and so on. But there are still guys there who are going to be leaders, and as Jock suggested, I think probably some of those guys are no doubt going to take it a little bit personally when it's, whether said directly or not, it's suggested otherwise.
Looked like the Eskimos were way offside there, but firing over the top and almost getting away was Corey Watson. Corey Watson looked like he was about a yard, almost 2 yards offside there, and it's a first down.
Corey Watson lines up as the inside of 3 receivers into the boundary. Kind of looked offside.
Whoops.
From here.
But it's 1st and 10 Edmonton inside Ottawa territory. Counting down to a minute left in this opening quarter. It's been all Eskimos. Crossing pattern over the top, and flag in the backfield. Might have been a hold here against the Eskimos. Will negate this play. Or did they get to Mike Riley?
Holding. Edmonton, number 64. It's a 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Hold indeed.
A little bit different for D'Anthony Batiste playing inside at guard. As opposed to the tackle spot, you're going to see a little more two-way go when you're dealing with an inside rusher, as opposed to on the outside where, yeah, a guy can spin inside, but you're largely going to get contained rush.
First and 20. Perkins has some room. Drops left side, gets to the initial line of scrimmage, maybe a little less than that. Corey Tyndall was there for the initial contact.
Darius Perkins has proven to be a great addition to this Edmonton Eskimo roster. Plugged into that backfield, as we mentioned earlier, after injuries to John White and Trayvon Van. Went over the century mark in his debut last week. Off to a good start here tonight.
20 seconds left in the quarter. Riley stepping up, but Chambers has the ball. And right into a scrum was Antoine Pruneau, was able to get to Mike Riley and will force the Eskimos to kick.
See Antoine Pruneau timing it up, coming from depth. Kind of got lost in the shuffle of that protection schemes. It seemed all eyes were to the front side.
So it is third down. Hugh O'Neill, who was with the Eskimos a couple seasons ago and brought back now with the injury to Sean White, handling both kicking and punting. Deontay Spencer is back. So too Quincy McDuffie. This ball will bounce out of bounds. Good kick near the 11-yard line for Hugh O'Neill on the final play of the first quarter. It started with the Edmonton Eskimos running hot, as they have all season long. Little flyby, and then Mike Riley took to the air, and Ladarius Perkins took it to the house. 10-0 after the opening quarter in the nation's capital. Visiting Eskimos pitching a shutout here in the rematch of last year's East Final. Teams met, of course, 4 weeks ago, where the Eskimos also won, running that record now to 6-0 as they come in here tonight against 1-5-1 Redblacks, whose psyche clearly is a little fragile right now, considering they are the defending Grey Cup champions. How do they get their mojo back?
Well, they've got to make some plays, and they've got to match the plays that Edmonton's making. You look at the passing yards so far, a quarter into this ball game, and Edmonton already is at 178 yards through the air in this ball game. You can't give those up, and you've certainly got to answer the bell in terms of getting momentum and maintaining your confidence. When you've started off 1-5-1, you don't want to be in a hole early against a team that's played as well as the Edmonton Eskimos have.
And an Eskimo D that leads in yardage against. Always been really leading with their defense the last couple of years. Josh Stangby hauls that in after a pickup of about 7 or 8. But again, a defense for the Eskimos that somehow been able to plug and play players. You miss a J.C. Sherritt goes down. So many other players. The anchor of your D, and Mike Benavides is still able to find answers.
Yeah, experienced defensive coordinator. Obviously a very important part of Jason Moss's coaching staff.
Penalty flag. 2 flags here. Second down, play that was going nowhere. Chirpin and John going on in the trenches.
Procedure,
Kim Murphy.
Legal formation, no end. Ottawa. The penalties decline. It'll be third down.
Another long field.
And I'll tell you, Rod, one of the themes we've talked about with this Ottawa Redblacks team in terms of their close losses is the fact that the feeling internally has to be largely that they have been games that they have lost, as opposed to the other team's winning. So many other wounds have been self-inflicted, and this is a perfect example. Forced into a third down because they weren't aligned properly.
Maher to Edwards. Finds his seam. Penalty flag. Up near the 45-yard line would be a great starting point for Mike Riley, who's already made some history here tonight. 17 straight, surpassing some pretty good quarterbacks.
Yeah, not so bad. Hall of Famers Warren Moon and Tracy Ham, with whom he had previously shared that record for most consecutive games with a touchdown pass.
Always great to catch up with Mike Riley, really one of the classiest guys in a league full of classy quarterbacks, and a guy who is fearless. You heard the studio guys before the game talking about, you know, all the adjectives that you could put for, fill in the adjective for Mike Riley.
Well, I mean, Mike Riley
he's a winner.
He's a winner, and he's just a natural leader, I think, without going out of his way to be a rah-rah guy or anything like that, but just the nature of how he plays the game, approaches the game, treats his teammates.
Illegally downfield on a kick, Ottawa. That penalty declined. No yards, Ottawa. Number 20, that penalty is declined. First down, Edmonton.
So they'll take all the yards that Edwards provided, and they'll start at the 46. And it's not looking good already here tonight for the Ottawa Redblacks. Got off to a miserable start in 2017, and Mike Riley had a little glint in his eye yesterday when we talked about, and so did Jason Moss, about the fact that there is something to avenge here in this stadium after losing in that East final last year in the snow. Perkins again with some good blocking. Jarrell Gavin's shoestring tackle.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos are setting the tone early in this game, physically as well. We showed you the D'Anthony Batiste block on the screen earlier. Keep an eye here on the left tackle, number 61, Joel Figueroa. He's just inside that hash on the right side of your screen and just blows up the linebacker, Khalil Bass, on this play.
2nd and 7 now. Redblacks bring it. Going over the top. There was a flag that flew late. 40-yard line. Near side. Like this, keep the Eskimo drive going.
Illegal contact, Ottawa, number 4. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Edmonton.
Jarrell Gavin's one positive play, this one a negative play on Bryant Mitchell.
Watch for contact after 5 yards. A little bit of a tug there to give himself a little bit of momentum, swinging around the receiver to get to that football.
Redblacks trying to get their crowd into this tonight, trying to make a big play defensively, but Mike Riley, as he has on all season, has had his way. Riley looking, tons of time, sideline, and there could have been a huge collision as he was looking for Stafford, with Tyndall coming at him full speed.
Mike Riley was throwing to a spot on this one. It was a race between receiver and defender to get there. Eskimos very fortunate to avoid an interception on this play.
Eskimos now 8 of 10, Dwayne. 2nd down conversions. Again, led the CFL coming into week 8 on 2nd down. Riley crossing pattern, but they're not going to get there this time. And it takes 4 players to bring down Bryant Mitchell.
That's the kind of swarming to the football you want to see, though, if you're Mark Nelson, defensive coordinator for these Ottawa Redblacks. No free safety in quickly. A number of other Redblack defenders running to the football. You see Sherrod Baltimore there as well. First-year man at halfback.
So the former Alberta Golden Bear, native of Edmonton, Hugh O'Neill, looks a lot different than the last time we saw him. Listen to that beard. I think he started it again, though. From the 38, trying to go 2 for 2 here tonight. And O'Neill splits the uprights. Perfect so far tonight. Really, so are the Eskimos. 13-0. Not too many blemishes. Heads up football here tonight from the Redblacks near the end zone, but they need some offense in a hurry. Monday night football. Toronto Argonauts. It's the Montreal Alouettes, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific across the TSN network and in 4K. Mark Trestman makes his return to Montreal.
And Mark Trestman, Jim Popp, S.J. Green, Bear Woods.
All those ex-Alouettes. Trevor Harris, play action. Now has the middle and some running room. And going flying but fumbling the football is Greg Ellingson. And the officials are ruling that he was down.
Yeah, it certainly looked like he lost that ball as he hit the turf. You knew it was going to be just a matter of time before Greg Ellingson got involved offensively, the big play threat for these Ottawa Redblacks. He comes into this game as the only receiver in the CFL averaging over 100 receiving yards per game.
Redblacks now moving this ball. Rolling out is Harris now decides to pump fake and take it. Picks up half the first down yardage. Significant in the game tomorrow night as well as the guy who helped groom Trevor Harris in Toronto. Ricky Ray's not playing tomorrow night. Jeff Matthews will get the start for the Argos against the Alouettes tomorrow.
Yeah, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat in his first season in Toronto.
Trevor Harris didn't like the spot, but he'll live with it here. 2nd and 5. Here comes the rush again. And down the sideline. Oh, what a catch. And what a toss there. Deontay Spencer somehow came up with that like he was shot out of a cannon. Because that looked like it was overthrown by about 5 yards.
Yeah, beautiful touch here from Trevor Harris. A nice burst to get to the football by Deontay Spencer. And the key here is he keeps running. Watch his arms keep going till the last second instead of running with his arms extended, which is going to slow him down.
Unnecessary roughness.
Here's the flag.
Edmonton, number 23.
Unnecessary roughness. So now
play automatic first down. Ottawa.
The Ottawa Redblacks can get right back in this first half. Redblacks second in the red zone for production in the early season. Harris now send out 5 receivers and goes for that post pattern, and Ellingson has the touchdown. Greg Ellingson on the out in the end zone, and the Redblacks are back in.
Greg Ellingson winds up as the 2 receiver, the middle of those 3 men out to the field. Watch the route. He's going to press to the inside, little head and shoulder fake on Brandon Thompson. Create a little more space. He knows he's got the whole outside of the field to get open, so he wants to make sure he gets Thompson sitting hard on that inside move. Great break, great throw from Harris.
Mahar converts. Ellingson's 5th touchdown of the season, one-on-one with an ex-teammate in Brandon Thompson. Redblacks have their fans back in it. They're back in it. Desperate need of a W here in the nation's capital on Thursday night football. Last November, East Final here. Henry Burris at quarterback finds Greg Ellingson in that East end zone. And Ellingson does the snow angel. No snow angel tonight here in early August. But around the same area of that end zone, it's Ellingson again, this time from Trevor Harris.
Yeah, you know, he's going to be the go-to guy in that part of the field. Varies up the celebration.
The Lansdowne Leap.
Yeah, the Snow Angel, of course, a seasonal celebration.
Receivers coach Travis Moore. So down 13-0. Redblacks claw back here, and it's 13-7. Strong kick back to Chris Edwards again. Edwards produces another good return up near the 34-yard line.
Return on the play with number 26.
Comes in leading the Canadian Football League in kickoff return average. Been called upon to help out a little bit in the secondary as well in the early going this season. Some of the injury issues these Eskimos have had on the back end. And I think what stands out for me most with Jason Moss's squad has been how well they've overcome the challenges to their Canadian depth. Some injuries at Canadian positions, weak side linebacker, offensive guard, free safety, that they've managed to survive there.
Play action once more to Perkins and a big tackle. Sherrod, Baltimore. Only his third game as a Red Black, and chatting with Jarrell Gavins yesterday, Gavins told us that Baltimore's the real deal.
Yeah, he described him as a beast. He said this guy can play, and Jarrell Gavins, of course, is now a veteran halfback in his 4th year in the Canadian Football League, is trying to share his experiences as a young DB with him. Oh, huge block there by Bryant Mitchell on Imone Claiborne.
Claiborne.
Oh, no, excuse me,
Cedarius Bryant, who is feeling the effects of that. Bryant is down.
Massive crack block. See, I don't think he'd do that to Claiborne, his old college teammate.
No, good point. So they are attending to Cedarius Bryant here in a smash mouth night on Thursday night in Ottawa.
Save big on mix and match mattresses and box springs at Sleep Country's famous mix and match sale. The colors don't match, but no one can see under the sheets. Plus, until Sunday only, get this Hot Buy Your Top Queen set for just $4.79. Incredible mattress, incredible price, but only until Sunday.
All alone I have cried, silent tears full of pride, in a world.
KFC's new lineup of $5 fill-ups. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser.
No wonder you can't sleep. Your car is a mess.
You need parts I've never even